Welcome, beautiful people, to my channel. It's your girl, Positive Vibez Des, better known as Des Bless or just Destiny. And I wanted to welcome you back to another Motivational Mondays. And in today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys today about my views on these two concepts that we're all pretty familiar with or heard before, which is self-love and self-confidence. Exploring the difference between the two and some of the similarities or how they influence each other. I wanted to leave you with a few self-affirming things that you can tell yourself, whether you're practicing to build your self-love or self-confidence. So stay tuned until the end. Make sure you turn on your post notification and let's get started. So, how I define self-love is being able to accept all parts of yourself, whether it's the good, the bad, or the ugly, and not only being able to accept those parts, but also being able to be kind, honest, and patient with yourself and however you present, as we're always changing and evolving. Self-love is an inward dynamic that is usually cultivated, in childhood. It starts there. A lot of times, we as humans don't always get that experience in childhood. So it then becomes this journey that we go on to try and find and adopt and define what self-love looks like for us. And it's not something that once we find or figure it out, then that's it. Right? It's something that we should strive to practice each and every day, showing ourselves love every day, being kind to ourselves every day, being honest with ourselves every day, and also being patient with ourselves every day. And in this effort to practicing self-love every day, I think it's also especially important to practice self-love, particularly if we're not experiencing the outward love from those around us. Now, moving on to self-confidence. This concept has to do with being sure of yourself, whether that's in your abilities, your performance, your presence, and presence can encompass a lot of things, whether it's how you look, your characteristics and or personality, your knowledge, and so on. Self-confidence also has to do with understanding that even if you're not the best at something, or even if you tried something and didn't get it quite right, being sure that you done the best that you could with what you have, or acknowledging that this may not be the best, or this may not be exactly how it is supposed to be, but there's room for growth, and I'm confident in my abilities to learn or do, or just be better at it next time. But it's really about being aware and understanding that what you've done or your capability so far is enough, acknowledging that there is room for growth, and committing to the process of working to be better, and knowing that I do have what it takes to be better. And as I mentioned, self-love is more so an inward dynamic that you're working through, you are building up and cultivating. With self-confidence is more of an outward dynamic or outward expression of who you are, what you like, what you're able to do, and so on. And a lot of the time, self-confidence can start in childhood, right? But most of the time, self-confidence comes as we go through different experiences, as we experience different things, and it teaches us, it builds us, and prepares us for whatever it is that we are trying to accomplish or what we're trying to get better at. And once we kind of realize, okay, I'm good at this, or I've accomplished this, or I'm able to do this, then that confidence comes, like, okay, I mastered that, or I did that. Now I'm sure that this is an area in which I'm good at or have overcome. Now that we've discussed both of those concepts of self-love and self-confidence, I wanted to point out that these are two things in which we normally hear together. A lot of the times when people address self-love, they address self-confidence, and or they're used interchangeably. But these are two separate concepts in which they operate independently, and you can have one without having the other. So you can have self-love and not be self-confident. And the same is true where you can be self-confident and not have or not fully have self-love. And the reason why I say that is because I do believe that in order to fully have self-confidence, there needs to be a sense of self-love, because if you haven't been able to love all aspects or parts of self, if you haven't been able to be kind, honest, and patient with all parts of self, then that part of self that you haven't fully given self-love to, you're not going to be confident in that area because you haven't fully accepted it or cultivated it or nurtured it or, let it grow. So it will be a little bit more challenging to be confident in that area. But again, they are separate, but I do think that self-love influences self-confidence to some degree. Now, though these are two separate concepts, they both take a lot of work to achieve the optimal sense of self-love, the optimal sense of self-confidence. And I think two main ways in which I think helps along that journey of achieving self-love and or self-confidence is through a lot of self-reflection and being gentle with yourself. And I do know that sometimes self-reflection can be hard. Sometimes it's hard for us to be honest with ourselves, but it just takes practice, diligence, and belief that you can do the work to self-reflect so that you can have self-love or have that self-confidence that you desire. So I wanted to end off this video leaving you with a few things that you can remind yourself, whether you're working on the aspects of self-love and or if you're working on the aspects of self-confidence. Here are a few self-affirming words that you can remind yourself when you're working on self-love. I am constantly growing and evolving and becoming my best self. Today, I choose me. I forgive myself. I accept myself unconditionally, and I am learning to love myself every day. Now, here are some things that you can tell yourself when working on self-confidence. I am exactly where I need to be. I embrace who I am. I am enough, or being myself is enough. I am beautiful inside and out, and I'm doing the best that I can. Now, those self-affirmations that I mentioned, they're not an exhaustive list. You can find a whole bunch more online. Just look up self-affirmations for self-love or self-affirmations for self-confidence, and you can even come up with some on your own. But I wanted to leave you with some of those just so that you can have something in your back pocket as you continue to work and develop those areas in which you need or want to work on. So I'd love to hear from you. What is your definition of self-love and confidence, and how do you work to maintain or achieve both or either of them? I'd love for us to get a conversation started down in the comment section about it. Be sure to turn on your post notifications so that you are aware of every time that I post, so you can come on back and check out a video. I hope that you learned, can apply, and share the knowledge. And I thank you guys for watching, and do know that I am always wishing you peace, love, and light.